Good morning, students. So with the continuity of previous video, now I'm going to explain about distrust of statistics. Right? Yesterday already I had informed you that today we are going to discuss about distrust of statistics and what are the causes and remedies, and then some basic definitions. Right? At the same time, scope of statistics in science, economics, commerce. So how the statistics is very much useful. The statistical study is implemented in different sources, different fields that I am going to discuss now. So let us see. The first one is distrust of statistics. As you all know that statistics deals with numbers. So numbers can be easily misleaded, manipulated. You all know that very well, right? Now, what do you mean by the distrust? The definition itself, it is there that we cannot able to trust statistics because we deal with numbers. Statistics are nothing but numbers. So let us see what are the causes and remedies to clear the distrust of statistics. The statement, there are three types of lies, damn lies, and we can say it as a statistics because we deal with numbers. It mentions that lack of confidence in the subject among the few. This distrust may be reaction due to the manipulations of the data, which may be seen to be accurate, done by corrupt persons for some selfish motives. See, as I said that easily the numbers, the numericals can be manipulated. Right? Numbers can be easily manipulated. And many times I have given this example also, like instead of putting 100, making extra zeros like 000 by adding, definitely the variation becomes more. So numbers can be easily misleaded, and sometimes we have to trust those numbers, right? We have to believe those numbers, but which is very very dangerous because some people, for their self motive, they will be manipulating the data either in terms of surveys or in terms of feeding the numerical data into the system. So some self motives will be there, right, for the by the corrupted persons. Now, what are these causes of distrust? There are some direct or indirect influence of certain causes. What are those? Cause number one, figures can be easily believed. As I said earlier, easily we can believe the figures, numbers, ignoring the limitations of statistics. So definitely we ignore the limitations of statistics, right? Next, misuse of the figures and inadequate samples, lack of subject knowledge. So these are all the causes of distrust of statistics. Either it may be a direct or indirect influence of certain causes. So lack of subject knowledge because inexperts, non-statisticians handling the numerical data may lead to wrong analysis also, or wrong presentation also. At the same time, if you ignore the limitations of statistics, ignoring the limitations means, as you all know that the limitations of statistics, in the previous video you must have observed it, qualitative data will not be considered, singular data cannot be considered, and then experts handling the data, inexperts handle may manipulate the data or may mislead the data. See, all these are called as a limitations. If you ignore these limitations, definitely the data will go wrong, right? Next, inadequate samples. Definitely we depend on the sample data, right? Any survey conduction or anything, census rarely will be doing it. In this sample data, inadequate samples to analyze the data if you do not collect it. So adequate samples, if you do not collect it to analyze the data, definitely we will be getting some distrust, misbelief on statistics, right? Now, what are the remedies to recover these distrust, misbelief? What are those remedies? Definitely we should be very very cautious while collecting the data or while analyzing the data or presenting the data or giving the interpretation. We should be very very cautious. Need to be a cautious, need of caution. Next one, Self limitations should be taken into consideration. Statistical limitations, as you know that statistical limitations, what are those? Quality should not be applied, that has to be observed thoroughly. Qualitative data should not mix. And then individual data also will not be considered. Always we consider group of data, aggregate of facts, isn't it? So those are to be followed thoroughly. Such limitations are to be followed thoroughly. So statisticians only should handle the data, statistical data. Third one is self restraint, nothing but a self control in statistical fallacies. So we should have self control while analyzing the data. Next, statistics must be used by experts. Experts handling statistical data definitely will give you proper and accurate information, accurate analysis, isn't it? Next, analytical study of data before its use. We have to study the analytical study, which one is better or which one is best to give the proper analysis. So everything, those are to be followed thoroughly. What statistical analysis have to be taken proper care, that has to be taken well in advance. So then only you will be getting the proper output. Clear? So these are all the remedies to remove distrust of statistics. I hope I am clear. Distrust of statistics, right? Causes and remedies are very, very important, and sometimes 5 mark question also they may be asking, even in the previous, in the upcoming model papers which was released by the government, right? In those papers also, one of the question was given, write any 3 causes and 3 remedies of distrust of statistics. It is asked for 5 marks. Remember guys. So very, very important question. Even in the previous years also this question was there. For 1 mark or 2 mark, write any 2 causes of distrust of statistics, write any 2 remedies to distrust or remove distrust. So like that. Now coming to the basic concepts. Before going to that basic concepts, how statistics is very much useful in different fields. What is the scope? Scope and application of statistics. So as you all know that they are applied in governments, business, industry, management, commerce, economics, sociology, biology, agriculture, medicine, psychology and insurance, etc. So these many fields the statistics has been implemented to get the exact and precise analysis, because without numbers there is nothing. Remember, okay, without numbers there is no science, without numbers there is no maths, without numbers there is no biology, no economics, nothing. So numbers are required, isn't it? Now how this statistics is very much useful. So statistics in state, generally state affairs, this is related to the government affairs. Clear? For example, finance, education, population study, transport, telegraph, commerce, defense, agricultural, all these whatever the government departments were there, they're all the statistics is very much implemented, very much used, right? In the central government also, for the CSO, Central Statistical Organization, NSS, National Sample Survey Organization, right? And then Registrar General of India, Indian Institute of Population Studies. So everywhere, first to analyze, the major step is to collect the data. Remember, collection, survey conduction is very much essential. Any kind of government departmental surveys, collecting the data is the essential step, important step, right? And based on the collection of the data, how to present and what to be analyzed, how to get the output, so everything will be properly analyzed there, right? So sometimes by conducting the surveys of food production and then polio, immunization and unemployment and food shortage, poverty, everything by the government which they conduct the surveys there, without the numbers nothing can be done, right? So this is how the statistics in state is useful. Next one, statistics in business. And most of you know that most of you are having business also, right? In a business field, the major important point is decision taking and decision making. Remember, right? Every businessman should know about his activity, about the future profits and future sales, right, from the past behavior, what all he has experienced. These statistical methods are very much used by the business people in decision making, estimations and comparisons. So if you do not estimate the future, definitely you cannot prosper in your future. Remember, right? Always exact prediction is needed for the business people. What product is going to be very much demandable, and what would be the price in future, how the sales are going to be, what kind of decision taking, I mean when to get the products, when to acquire the goods, when to sell the goods. So everything businessman should think, and how to compare with others, because always with the comparison only you stand unique. Remember. So in the business activities such as production, finance, sales, accounting, purchase, quality, marketing, etc., statistical methods are extensively used. And then at the same time, based on the trends and tendencies, the future estimating also is very much required, forecasting the future trends and tendencies, how it is going to be. Next, how this statistics is useful in economics. Generally we call it as a econometrics. There is a definition, right? A branch of statistics which deals with the application of statistical methods in the field of economics. Generally economics, whenever the word comes, we think about savings, taxations, exports, imports, and then production policies, budgets. So all these comes under in economics, some 5-year plans, etc. Right? Now, statistics in science, definitely. So numbers, the physical and natural sciences like astronomy, engineering, biostatistics and pharmaceuticals, statistical methods are very much useful, as well as the agricultural sciences also. So there is a saying, great saying, that sciences without statistics bear no fruit, and statistics without science has no root. So science needed statistics, statistics definitely helps in science. That is the meaning of this. Clear? Now let us go to the basic concepts. What do you mean by units or like individuals? The objects, the things whose characteristics are studied in any statistical survey are called as individuals or data or units. Now, what do you mean by a population? Very, very important definition. The totality of units are being under consideration is called as a population. We can say another definition is a group of individuals who are being studied, called as a population. Say for example, our college library is one population. Our classroom set of students is called as one population. Our entire college strength is called as one population. Always never think that population means the whole country's population, right? Anything, the group of units who are being studied at a time, that itself is called as a population. And there are two different types of populations. One is finite population and another one is a infinite population. Finite population means, countable, finite number of units, right? And for example, number of benches in a class, number of students in a classroom. So all these are called as a finite. Infinite population means uncountable, though they are finite but uncountable, right? Uncountable number of units. For example, number of trees and plants in Lal Bagh is an infinite population, right? Next, sample. Sample is nothing but a part of the population, some subset of the population. The representative units of a population is called as a sample. Now, what is qualitative characteristic? Qualitative characteristic means qualitative which cannot be measured, but its presence or absence we can sense, we can felt, it can be felt, right? So definitely qualitative characteristic means which cannot be numerically measured. Quantitative characteristic which can be numerically measured characteristics. Now, what do you mean by a variable? Variable is nothing but, definitely it is a quantitative characteristic which varies from unit to unit, right? It's a measurable. Variable is nothing but a measurable characteristic. quantitative characteristic which varies from one unit to other unit. Height, weight, marks, percentages, number of students, number of trees, right? Everything comes under variable. Next, coming to the concept attribute. Attribute is nothing but quite opposite one. Qualitative characteristic which varies from unit to unit. So like intelligence, color, skin, behavior, character, ability. So all these comes under attributes. Next, discrete variable. So variable are of two types. One is a discrete variable, another one is a continuous variable. Discrete is nothing but distinct, specific. Remember this word, right? The variable which assumes only specified values within a given range, called as a discrete variable. Specified values, for example, marks, you take it up to 25 marks. Specific, 25 mark, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, like specifically, individually the marks which are being observed. The variable which assumes only specified values within a given range, called as a discrete variable. Number of benches in a classroom, number of road accidents in a day. So all these comes under discrete variable. Continuous variable means distinct values will not be taken. All the values within the range we have to take it. So all the possible values, here specific, here all. That is the difference between discrete and continuous. Weights, heights, income, all these comes under continuous variable. Next, what is quantitative data and qualitative data? Quantitative data means which is numerically measured. Qualitative data means which is not numerically measured. That's it. That's the definition. Now, but qualitative data, sir, how to measure? So qualitative data can be quantified. Quantification, nothing but the qualitative data also can be measured by assigning numbers. Remember, measurement of quantitative data is very easy because it deals with numbers and it can be measurable. But wherein measurement of qualitative data requires different type of scale of measurement. Those scales were nominal and ordinal. What do you mean by a nominal scale? As I said, numbers are assigned for every unit for identification of different categories. Right, for example, your nominal roll is there, your names, alphabetical order in attendance sheet. There, numbers are assigned, roll number 1, roll number 2, roll number 3, roll number 4, or else roll number S501, S502, S503. So some numbers are being assigned for the identification of so and so qualitative characteristic. For example, your name, right? Attendance, register, nominal sheet. So that itself is a nominal scale. Roll numbers assigned to students and male population married, and then assigning male population as 0, female population as 1, like that. What do you mean by ordinal scale? Ordinal scale is nothing but here also numbers will be assigned, but they are to be arranged in order, either increasing or decreasing order. For example, ranks assigning according to your marks for your name, qualitative characteristic, rank will be assigned. First rank, second rank, third rank, so and so student. So that itself is a ordinal scale. So with this, chapter number 1, most frequently asked questions are completed. So I hope you just observed the previous video. Hope this video also will be observing it. See guys, whatever we are saying in the videos, these are all for your upcoming final examination purpose. Definitely all these things will be very much useful and helpful to you. So I request all the students kindly follow the videos, right? So definitely these videos will help you to revise the concepts whichever has been taught earlier, isn't it? Because all these things were completed through online MyPal classes, but now it's time to revise once again through direct videos. Clear? So definitely you will be understanding all the concepts if you thoroughly follow these videos. So please share with your friends, those who do not have observed. Definitely all these videos will helpful to you to prosper in your final examination. I hope everybody is doing great, right? So don't come out So kindly follow whatever the videos sent by the college, either in irrespective of any subject, physics, chemistry, maths, statistics, languages, whatever it is, all you must observe it, right? So stay home, stay safe. Thank you guys.